Today we are lifting this 4th gen Tacoma with some Icon dynamic suspension parts and wheels. So this is an underground with the TRD off-road package, and it does have the premium package, which comes with leather seats and some other goodies like the tailgate assist. It will also come with these Bilsteins with piggyback reservoirs from factory, and we're going to be pulling that off today to be installing these very long shocks. These are Icon Dynamics 2.5 without the reservoirs, and then in the rear we have these 2.0 shocks with remote reservoirs. And then for the lift in the rear, we have these Icon coils. This is the part number here. This is going to be replacing the factory coil in the back now that the Tacoma no longer has leaf packs. So we got the factory front struts pulled off here. So we have them laid on the outside of the Icons. Here's a top-down comparison. So you can see that there's a lot more coil, and the Icon is about an inch longer in length than the factory Bilsteins. So obviously this is going to provide you with a lift, and hopefully it's going to ride better as well. But we already know it's going to ride better because we have this on another setup of ours. So the difference here, this inner shock body is a 2.5 diameter instead of this, which is about a 2.0. So that's where all your dampening is going to come into effect there inside the shock body itself. And then the height is going to be set with the collar here, so you can adjust your height if needed. But out of the box, this should be exactly where you want it to sit. Once you throw it on there and you want to go up or down a little bit, you can do so with that adjustable collar on top. Now, keep in mind, if you do go taller, you're compressing the spring more, and it's going to make your ride a little bit stiffer. Then on the opposite end, if you reduce the lift, it's actually going to ride even better. So we're going to get this installed here in the front. The only thing we are going to be skipping out on today is going to be the upper control arms, just because the customer decided to opt it out on that. For now, that can always be added later, depending on the alignment and depending on how he is going to be using this truck. And these are going to be the wheels that are going on that Tacoma. They are the Recon Pros. The Pro is basically these bolts that will be installed after your tire goes on, and that really prevents your bead from popping out if you were to deflate very low. So that way they're kind of like a beadlock style, but without the beadlock ring. So these are actually a little bit more DOT safe. But the specs on this, 17 and an 8.5 with a positive 25 offset. This is the sweet spot for anybody who is looking to get wheels for their Tacoma, 4th gen Tacoma. Positive 25, 17 by 8.5. If you want a little bit more poke, reduce this number to a positive 10, positive 12, anywhere around there. Once you get to 0, you're going to introduce a lot more rubbing. But if that is the look you want to get, then obviously you'll be okay with trimming. Icon suspension stages. Let's talk about them real quick, just because it can get a little bit confusing. Now, what we have here is dissected from the stage 3 kit for the 4th gen Tacoma. And what I mean by that is we have 2.5s in the front without the remote reservoir, 2.0 in the rear with the remote reservoir, but we don't have the upper control arms and we don't have the diff drop. Now, the stage 3 comes with both the upper control arms and the diff drop. You can choose from billet upper control arms or the tubular upper control arms. The tubular one is cheaper. They are more affordable, but both of them are both as beefy for off-road purposes. So Like I mentioned before, we opted out of the upper control arms for this build, but you can always add that on later. But the one thing I would highly recommend is the diff drop for the 4th Gen Tacoma, because the angles of these axles from factory are not great. Meaning that if you lift it too high, the axles could slip out of the carrier. So that's one thing that has happened before. So don't lift your Tacoma too high, and get the diff drop if you can. So we got the rear shocks pulled out here, and you can see here, even the rears have piggyback reservoirs from factory if you have the TRD off-road package. But this is the Icon 2.0 with the reservoir here. It looks like it's almost about the same length, if not it is the same length. But this is the difference here, because the shock body is the same size. So there's almost the same amount of fluid in here, unless the valving was different in here. But being that this reservoir is much bigger than this one is going to be a little bit more dampening power and ride a little bit better. Now over here, this is a side-by-side comparison of the factory coil, which is on the right side, and the Icon, which is on the left. So flat on the table, on top there you can see where the lift is going to come into play with the Icon coil here. Okay, so here it is. This is where Icon put the front struts, so we didn't touch that at all. We're going to see how it settles after, you know, a tank of gas or two. And this is where the back is sitting. Pretty close to being leveled. The front is just a smidge taller at the moment, but it'll settle with some driving. The rear coils will probably not settle as much, so they'll probably just stay exactly where it is. This is kind of a eye level or lower view of it, just to see what it looks like. Okay guys, that is going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it was informational and helpful. If you have any questions, give us a call. We are in Denver, Colorado, or just leave a comment down low and subscribe to the channel. See you guys next time.